And this round, what have I got for you? We're going to do a dual live stream. I've got my other channel on here, the Winos Wine Guide. So for those that are used to the Winos Wine Guide stuff, howdy. We'll do a little plug in here. The Truly Unruly Seltzer, 8% alcohol. Tasty. Mm. Anyhow, I'm just going to use this Go Live Together feature so you can get a view as to the fly tying demo that I'm going to be showing here shortly. But I think I need to zoom in a little bit more on the one camera. So let's go do that real quick. Just zoom it in so you can get the full Monty. Okay, that's better. I think I need to cut over to the right a little bit. Yeah, to the right. Okay. All right, I think that'll work. Let me do one more move over this way. Okay. So tonight, yours truly is going to be hosting another live stream at 8:30 p.m. Central. But before that, I just wanted to do just a quick get together and explain to you what worked, specifically the worm or the mega worm that I was using to hook into, I guess the bigger trout. So, so from a fishing updates perspective, let me go run through that, and then I'll just take you through the fly tying demo. I need to grab my notes. Okay, bear with me. All right, I got my notes. Here we go. Fish Van Alstyne. So last weekend I checked out Van Alstyne, Texas, just up the road from here in the city of Allen, where I'm located. That's a suburb just north of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And they fished this one pond, or they stocked this pond, had a derby and everything. And of course, you got to go check it out. So I tried. I think it's the second time it's been stocked in the past 2 years with trout. It's one of these put and take fisheries, so you definitely go over there to take the fish versus try and do any carry over trout and whatnot. So I ended up getting one. It was kind of hard. I was trying to get them on some bait finesse ultralight bait casting stuff, and that didn't work out. Ended up using some power bait. Okay, and then yesterday I headed out to the Blue River, Oklahoma. They stocked it, I believe, on Thursday, and it's a weekly stocking. Howdy, the Spend Man. Thanks for joining. Just doing a little fishing updates as well as a flying tying demo for this trip that I went to yesterday, the Blue River, Oklahoma, which is about an hour 45 minutes from where I'm at here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. All right. Thanks for subbing. Appreciate the support. And I'm hoping that I could do more of these. Tonight, I've got another live stream going on with the specific video on the fly video and whatnot, where I don't even edit it. I just pretty much, what do you call it? I pretty much put everything in and render it, and then I run through it. Maybe call out a few things. Crumb J4Y, hello, howdy. Let's see, Charge Wisley, what Wiesel, could you shout me? Happy birthday! All right, thanks for joining. Hey, I had a belated birthday present the other day that I posted in the channel, specifically of a portable reel rod combo that I'm pretty excited about. All right, so happy birthday. Okay, let's see, Blue River. I went there like early morning, got there first light, fished it. It was kind of chilly, and the bite was at least steady but slower than what I'm normally used to fishing the blue. I did see some folks out there fishing the sandbar area, and in fact, I believe I'm going to go and go back to Google Earth and make some updates to some of the tips I had in the past, talking about fishing Hughes Crossing, which is the low water crossing section of the Blue River. Okay. And then for those on the other channel, Winos Wine Guide, hey, shout out to y'all for joining. We're talking fishing versus wine, but we can definitely talk about the little seltzer I'm having here. Adult beverage. Okay. Also, I may do a quick trip here in the next couple of days. Maybe be able to hit one of the local ponds and whatnot. Trying out the either the center pin reel or this hand line that I made. Let me go ahead and grab it real quick, just so I can show you. And then we'll get into the Blue River and talk about how things panned out there. I know I'm going to talk more about it later on this afternoon, and then we'll go into the fly tying demo. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe taking out the 3D printed uh, Yoyito hand line. Okay, then I put it on the 3D printer. Okay, and it is a replica of the commercial variety Yoyito right here. Yoyito. And this one is got a pretty cool looking gold color finish to it, and it's made out of aluminum. All right, so check that out. It's made out of aluminum. Cool. All right, that's a hand line. I've caught actually some decent catfish with it. So that is one of the plans am trying to do over the course of the next few days. We do have some warmer, unusually warm temperatures this round for us here in Texas. Okay. All right. Let me just walk you through what I went through to finally settle in on this particular fly that ended up getting the bigger fish in yesterday's trip. All right. All right. And I think in tonight's live stream, I should be able to pull in Google Maps or Google Earth and show you the specific spots I was trying to target. Okay. First things first, I started the morning fishing I call it an olive near deer. Okay. So woolly booger pattern, but it's tied on a jig fly hook. Okay. And that's what I'm going to be tying the megaworm here shortly. But this is the one that I used to catch the fish initially. I'm going to flip it over right here. Actually, let's just put it on here. Okay. That was the one that I started out the morning with right there. Okay. Let's see. I've heard when you start a hobby, you should buy the cheapest equipment you can get, then replace what breaks or frustrated with the expensive. I wouldn't say cheapest equipment. Usually, what I did was either it was on sale and I stuck with some standard stuff that worked out. But my first rod and reel was a Zebco 101 that you could get as a combo, and I think you got it at Kmart way back for like under $10. So that was what got me hooked, and then I kind of switched off and all kinds of other stuff. In that, in the case of fly tying devices, I went through 4 of them before settling on this one. And this one went for like $200 or something. All right, so yeah, I would say get something that's economical for you within your budget. Because a lot of times what happens is you may get into something, and next thing you know, you don't get into it, or you take it up later. So just kind of play it by ear, I guess. All right, it's kind of weird that this thing is going back and forth. Okay, all right. So that was the fly that I used to catch the first couple of trout that morning, and then things kind of died down. I also noticed that a strike indicator was not the thing to do. They were definitely keying off the strike indicator after it got sunny. When it was still overcast, early morning, early light, I was still being able to fish the indicator. But soon as that sun came up and everything broke through, I could actually see with my polarized glasses all the way to the bottom. This is the Blue River in Oklahoma. And that was kind of good, but kind of bad in some cases. Well, I couldn't fish that strike indicator, but I could I could actually sight fish and set the hook based on seeing the reaction of that trout to my fly. Okay, so went through all these different flies and whatnot to include the squirmy worm here. I did use an egg pattern right here. I got one off the egg pattern here. I also did all kinds of stuff. Like in this case, I had a tandem rig that I put together. Okay. Tried different flies that were also known for the Blue River, and it was just not doing it for me. I did get several on the mop fly right here, this pattern. Okay. Right here, right there. And but I had a lot where actually the last two that I hooked into, they were on the line briefly and then they got off. I call it the long range catch and release. Okay. Okay. So with that, let me grab the other fly box I got in my jacket. All right. This one right here is one that I like using when put my mop flies and whatnot. It's an old aluminum Lee Perrin fly box, old school, big time old school. But I mainly put these mop flies and mega worms and whatnot in there. In the case of the fly that worked for yours truly, it's this one right here that is still wet with the Blue River water on it. Okay, and you get the thing about a mega worm though is as you're fishing it, it will get hung up on the hook. So you do have to make sure that if it does come on there, you need to make sure you come make it loose. And additionally, sometimes the trout will just kind of nip at the tail end, and you're thinking you get a bite, but he's actually not struck it. All right, so a lot of times I'll get like multiple hits before I actually hook into him. And in this case, when I was fishing the blue and seeing where some of these nicer sized trout were in this deeper part of the river where I was at. Uh, let's say this is the fly. I would have that fly would be coming by, and the trout would chase it, come back around and hit it, and then it would still drift down, come back around and hit it, and actually stay engaged with it for a good 3, 4 hits before it would skip it and go on. So uh, I hooked into two using the mega worm. I ended up keeping one. I don't know how big it was. Um, I think it was over 12, 13 inches, but already ate it, so it's out here. I can't measure it. But speaking of that, I did see someone posting uh, on Facebook this electronics AI means to measure your fish, so you can catch and release it really quickly. So I went ahead and ordered one. It should be here. I think it's the 23rd, Wednesday. So as soon as that come in, I'll probably try catching a fish with it and see how good it works and whatnot. And I'll come back on here on one of these impromptu live streams and we can pick it up from there. But again, I won't go too much in detail about the Blue River because I've got that live stream tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central. I'm going to do one where I've got the video from the day's action, and then I'll flip flop back and forth, be it some questions, call outs, and maybe even pulling in that Google Maps feature so I can show you specifically some of the places that I saw folks catching, as well as some good tips, I would say, uh, fish in the area. And again, for those on the other channel, Wino's Wine Guide, right here, little adult seltzer for you. Oh man, SWC Florida. Hey, thanks for joining in. I'm just doing a dual stream update deal here to talk about the fly that actually worked for me the other day, and it's the mega worm. Okay, different, little bit different than the mop fly, but I think the only real difference is I'm using this yarn here. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and jump into it. All right. And then one other thing I want to call out is I've been starting to use this wireless lav mic from Hollyland. Uh, I can move around and keep the sound quality as good, be it up close as well as moving back, and I find that makes it much easier when I'm doing these streams. Okay, so let's tie a mega worm. Okay, and what you'll need is some yarn. Okay. And this is pretty much a lifetime supply for yours truly. The big thing is it feels like that really thick yarn like you use for like a bathrobe or something. Okay. I've tied them in different colors, but this one seems to be the one that I keep coming back to. And it's basically this white color. All right. And let's see, just to replicate what I already tied, I'm gonna grab one that's already made so I can make sure I keep the tail intact. Okay, right. Right here, let's grab the one that's still wet from the blue river. Okay. All right, so here it is. And let's see, I'm just gonna measure it out. It's roughly about 3 inches, about 3 inches or so. Okay. And all you do is cut off a deal of that. And we'll go ahead and cut another one just in case. Might as well do two while we're here. Okay. And then, other than the jig fly hook right here, is what I'm using. Okay. Other than that, I'll have some Hairline Ice Dub UV Pearl. And that is it. That's all I'm going to be needing to dye this fly. Okay. So let's go ahead and put one on. You kind of want to go with a heavier one, and when you do fish it, you got to make sure you get it soaked, so it definitely sinks on you before you actually start fishing it. Okay, because if you don't, it's going to ride up on you. Okay. All right. So these are 1/80th ounce jig fly hooks. Basically a jig, but you tie flies with it. Okay? And it's 1/80th ounce. I've got another one that's 1/124th ounce. Okay. Pretty small. Okay. And you tie it like so. And as a rule of thumb, I think I've said this before, is I like making sure the hook point is even with the vice jaws. And what that does is lets me know where that hook point is in relationship to the shank. Okay. Plus, it keeps it from getting caught as you're tying in your line. The other thing that you'll need is some white tying thread, Dacron tying thread. Okay. And the first thing you do is just lay a thread base, take it all the way back to the bend, right where the bend of the hook starts. Okay. Just like so, just laying a thread base. I think you do that with pretty much every fly, you know? Okay. And then I'll stop about midpoint, right where those midge jaws are. Okay. I need a lighter this time. Okay. So on the end that is going to be the tail, I'm going to use a lighter here. So lighter, and just kind of, oops, get it heated like so, right there. Don't want it to burn on you. I almost did, or it did, but you kind of want to leave that little nub. Okay, you can kind of clean it up a little bit. All right, so it's kind of looks like the nub end of a caterpillar or something in the water and whatnot. Figure it out. Okay. All right. Well, since we're doing it, might as well do the other one so we can put that up. So again, just kind of lightly go and melt the end down. And you only do it on one side. Okay. All right. There we go. A little bit more. Okay. Trying to get that little nub end thing going. Okay. There. All right. So we got both of those. And all it is just that right there. I mean, it's very, very simple. Okay. Next thing, let's go ahead and tie in the this is the loose end, not the one that I burnt up and everything. If you don't burn it, what ends up happening is it unravel on you, and you don't want it to let it unravel, because then the fly is done. Right. And the next thing is I'll start with a couple of loose wraps, 1, 2, just to secure it in place, and then I'll kind of pull tight and start moving it, or start securing it in place. Okay, just like that. Right there. And that's it. And kind of pull on it just in case, because sometimes you don't catch it all the way, and next thing you know, it's unraveling on you. All right. So, just in case, just give it a quick pull, and that one's secure, so that's good. All right. And the next thing is the next piece you can do two ways. You can get some dubbing wax, put it on your fingers, and you can apply the dubbing directly on here and make a dubbing noodle. Okay. I like using one of these things, the dubbing tool. All right, this is the Y tool. It's a Y. There's other ones that have these fancy little spinner thing and everything. I just get this. All right, this is my second one I've owned. The first one I owned lasted a lifetime, but I lost it in a move. So lo and behold, you definitely want to make sure you have one of these babies. Okay, so I'm just going to build a loop with it. 1, 2. Let's go back around. All right, and then I'm going to take the thread, take it back to behind the hook eye, and it's going to put in the cradle here. Okay. Actually, wait. I need to put a little half hitch to secure it, and I'm taking advantage of the rotariness of the peak rotary vise here. All right. Okay. So next thing is I've got this kind of Y-shaped or triangular shaped loop, dubbing loop. And what you'll do there is you'll take some dubbing, like so, and you'll just kind of place some bits and pieces of dubbing in that loop, okay, that triangle space, okay, and you kind of just work it through, just kind of get it all up in there. And I find that I get more tighter dubbing wraps when I use this method, and I think the fly lasts a little bit longer, and at the same time, I think it's a lot easier. But bear with me, my hands are really chapped. Every time I go fishing, salt or fresh water, cold winter weather, whatnot, and I stick my hand in the water, I don't wear gloves. I start getting this crackliness here. So you definitely know when the winter or cold water season is started for yours truly is because my thumbs and fingers start chapping on me or getting cracked and whatnot. And what I do to get through it is I use liquid Band-Aid right there. I'll put it on my thumb and my finger. All right. And hey, that kind of keeps me, able to go back for more because, I like fishing. And if it's a little bit chilly, it's all right. Okay. So next thing is I'm going to take the one end of the ear of that triangle and I'm going to close it shut by just sliding it over. Okay, just sliding it over like so. Okay, so now the triangle is shut and I'm going to twist it. Actually, I made a mistake. I was supposed to twist it beforehand. We'll try it anyways. It's working. Okay, so you can see it's pretty much got a nice, set of chenille on there. It's almost like your own homemade chenille. And it's pretty tight on there. Like I can move it around and all that. See? Pretty cool. All right. So now what we're doing now is you've got the mega worm main portion of it being that yarn, and then you're adding this piece, some flash right here. You can use, egg yarn, other dubbings and whatnot, almost like it's an egg sac. In this case, I'm trying to just kind of build up some bugginess to it. All right. So I'll tie in this dubbing and I'll just start from right where I tied it in, where the dubbing loop is. And I'll just slowly bring it forward with adjacent wraps. Okay, just like that. And I'm building it up right here. I want a nice buggy looking dilly like that. And at this point, I'm going to tie off the dubbing loop. 1, 2 behind, 1, 2 in front, back behind. And at that point, I'm going to cut. Okay. And we're pretty much done. That is pretty much the mega worm. All right. I think the only thing you need to do now is just maybe add a little head cement if you care to. I find that you don't need to if you do one of these double whip finishes, 2, 3, 4 wrap, whatever dealy. Okay. And that's it. All right. And then I would take some Velcro and I kind of do this to this front end here, right behind the head. And that's it. That is the mega worm. Let's see if I can. That's hard to show you. The mega worm. Okay. And when it's moving through the water, it's going to kind of do one of these numbers and slowly dive down. Just make sure you wet it first before you actually start fishing it. And because I was able to see in the water and see all the way down to the bottom, I could see these trout chasing it, reacting to it. I went with all kinds of different flies, and it finally came down to it had to be white or some kind of peach pattern egg. Other than that, they were ignoring it. And then as soon as I switched and locked into the white pattern, I tried basically various fishing patterns with that white coloration, but it seemed to be this one being the consistent one. Now the only problem was the trout would chase it; they'd be knocking at it, and a lot of times they would bite at it, and I would set the hook, but I pull it out of their mouths because that hook is way up forward, and they're over here messing with it. The other thing is it would wrap around like so. Okay, and that ain't gonna work. They're definitely not gonna hit that. You got to make sure it stays loose. What I noticed helped was as I'm drifting it down, I'm kind of giving it a little twitch or so to keep this behind it and flowing back. That helped. Uh, Usually, if I did hang up the tail to the hook, it was usually on the cast. Okay, so that was pretty much it right there. All right, so tonight I've got the 8:30 p.m. Central. Going to do a Q&A, live Q&A with some of the video from yesterday's trip to the Blue River. And for this one, I just wanted to get you guys together and just kind of give you an idea on how this one worked, this particular fly. Okay. And hey, we still got a few. Let me go ahead and tie the other one here while we're here. And here I'll just see if you guys can pick up from what I just talked about on what I did. Okay, so jig fly hook, 1/80th ounce, Dacron tying thread, build thread base. Okay, take it down to the thread bend or the hook bend, like so. Okay, all the way back. Okay, and then take it back forward, make it even with the jaws. Okay, and since we already did one earlier, we burnt the one end of the yarn, Okay, there. One end of the yarn. And the yarn is that really thick Bathy Bath towel stuff right here. Pick that up at these different craft stores and whatnot. Okay, tie it in. All right, a couple of loose wraps, and then lock it in. All right, build it up, back and forth. Make sure you got a good thread base in there or good tie in, and then take it again back to that hook point. Okay, and then just as a check, pull back on it. If it slips on you, you need to tie it in again. If it doesn't slip, you're good to go. Like here, I'm good to go. All right, in this point, I'm going to build the dubbing loop. This time I'm going to do it right. Earlier I did it wrong. Okay, so I was supposed to spin it while I still had that triangular shape. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to put the dubbing loop in. All right, take it forward, put a quick half hitch just to lock it in so that when I spin it, I don't also tie up the line. Okay. Take some of that UV dubbing, nice dubbing stuffy. Okay. Take a couple of pinches there, put it into that gap right here. Triangle. You see a triangle space here now. I'm just going to push it in there, take it up, make sure I have it on there. Let me grab another one, just a little bit more, just a little bit, just a devil do you. All right. Let's do one more in there. Just make sure it's in between. As long as it's in between that spacer, you're good to go. Or that triangle. Just do one more. Okay. Mistake I showed earlier was I closed the dubbing loop sooner than I should have. I needed to twist first and then close the loop. So I still have that open spacing here in the dubbing loop. Now I'm just going to twist. Okay. And it's definitely going to build a nice dubbing loop. It's almost like a dubbing chenille, homemade dubbing chenille on the fly. Okay. All right. So at this point, I've got it locked in there good. Okay. And I can close the triangle. And now I'm ready to tie it in. Okay. And it's pretty tight in there. Okay. So now we're just going to build it up, starting from where we first tied in the tail and adjacent wraps, building it up. Look how buggy that thing is. Oof, that is buggy. I'm going to just put some more because I want a lot on this one. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. All right. Now let's just tie it in. 1, 2 behind, 1, 2 in front of the loop, and then back behind one. At this point, I can cut it knowing that it's not going to pop off on me. Okay. All right. And then we'll finish it off with 2 4-wrap whip finishes. You can use some head cement, UV glue if you want. Up to you. I find that 2 wraps of this and it doesn't come off. 2 4-wrap whip finish knot, or yeah, whip finish. Okay, and that's it. Look at that. That's it. There was a fish getter yesterday. Good stuff. Show you another view of it. Okay. Very simple fly. Only thing I say is just be careful as you're fishing it. This will hook onto itself, the tail. All right, so you do have to reset that. And then the other thing is make sure you wet it first, get it nice and soaked, and watch it drop down as it should. If it's just sitting on the surface, you need to wet it some more. The other thing is you can go with a heavier jig fly. I'm using 1/80th ounce. I find that this is getting me a good drop rate. 4 or 5 count. I'm hitting the bottom. I would say maybe about 6-inch to maybe a foot per count. So 1,000, 2,000, dropping about a foot. Again, once it's soaked. Okay. All right. I think that's it. Anyone have any questions? Else, I'm gonna secure everything, and we'll be getting ready for another live stream. This one will have some video of the yesterday's trip tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central. Certainly welcome to join and ask any questions that you may have. All right. And with that, a little something for yours truly. For those from the Wino's Wine Guide channel, hey, thanks for joining also. Yeah, I would say 8% alcohol content is definitely a nice tastiness when you're talking seltzers. I may have been doing this because I need to keep a low carb diet. All right. All right, all for now. Next time we'll catch you all later. Good luck and good fishing.